Would you ever look around to see the sound? If you could see behind your head, would you ever look around to see the sound?
G'day everyone, welcome to the Deadline stream for game week 9. We are doing this the night before, as generally I will, and there's going to be a lot of game weeks and deadlines coming up soon until the World Cup, a lot of midweek ones as well. So we will try to do as many as I can over the next few weeks leading up into the World Cup, but this is how my team sits at the moment. I still haven't made my transfers yet. As such, funnily enough, the two people I will most likely be getting in, unless anything changes in Haaland and Maddison, did rise today, but I can still afford it quite easily. And tactic I took into last year, always wait until the very last moment, the deadline, as long as you can, because there's still news to come out, and it's coming out sort of as we speak with some injuries and press conferences, and it can catch you out if you make early transfers, and if you can afford them, then I always tell people just to wait. So, look, we'll look at a few things, some injury updates, the fixtures coming up. There's a lot of decisions to be made. There's a blank, of course, in about a month's time as well. So, a bit to get to. I'll probably do this for about 40 minutes, something like that. See how many people jump in. Strag says I'm washed. Probably true. Well, that actually insinuates that I was even good at one point, but Locke's in here and so is Sportsnut. But we'll get to probably, my team right now, looking at it, it's 1 million in the bank. This is how it looks. And as I said, Haaland and Maddison will be coming in pretty much 99%. It's just a matter of who's going out, and I guess that's the question for me straight away. And if you want to try and help me with that, then I've pretty much got it on the screen. But it comes down to two things, and is Kane and Foden going out, or is De Bruyne and Jesus going out? And I think initially I was probably leaning towards De Bruyne and Jesus going out. Both players are going to blank in game week 12. I'm also bringing one in, so I'm not really helping myself too much there. But It's more that I think Kane and Haaland might be the better duo just for the next 2 or 3 weeks. But I think looking ahead and knowing that I want to get Salah back at some point, he has really good fixtures starting game week 12. Well, he has a good one this week, but starting game week 12, I think it's West Ham at home, and then really good ones after that until the World Cup. And if I go with the 2 big strikers, getting Haaland in and then keeping Kane, then it's going to make it really hard to get back to Salah, or not hard, just going to have to take another hit. And I took a hit last week, the first one of the season. I'm obviously going to have to take one this week, and sort of booking myself in knowing I'm going to have to do one again to get Salah back for probably Kane at some point. Probably something I don't want to do. So keep the structure of, one big mid and then Haaland up top is probably what I'm going to tend to go with. If you have any thoughts, let me know. But I think that's the way I'm going to go. And Jesus, I don't mind keeping. There's a Leeds fixture before the blank, and then Southampton afterwards. And I think he's probably our best asset. Attacker-wise, his numbers are through the roof. Probably could have more returns than he does already, really. So I think he's the one I'm probably going to, or happy to keep. And then obviously getting rid of Phil. If you know me by now, he's a man I've always wanted to own and have done the whole season. But I think it makes sense to get rid of him and keep De Bruyne. De Bruyne, he can go well in the big games against United this week. They got Southampton as well. So as long as he gets his starts, which I think he should. He's already had his rest this season. Then he could be in for a couple of big hauls, and he always seems to be assisting Haaland. So having them both might be really good. But then I'll probably have to jump off KDB to Salah in game week 12, and I guess we'll get up my team, how it looks as far as in the transfers. So pretty much I've got a million in the bank, so this is why I could afford the transfers no matter what. If we do the Kane out to Haaland, and then it's going to be Foden out, I can still, as I said, afford the transfers very easily. And then we'd be keeping guys like Gross, and I'm actually keen to see how they go with the new manager. They've actually got a couple of fixtures I really wouldn't mind fielding him for, with some really bad ones, obviously either side. But he's not locked into my starting lineup. He can be benched. I've got Nico Williams here as well for backup with some decent fixtures, but again, he'll just be on my bench, and Andreas as well. So it does mean I have to field Saliba this week, or I could make the call and go for Nico. But if I'm getting Maddison, you sort of don't want to. I'm already got the Newcastle defence with Mitrovic up top, which I'm sure a lot of people have. You don't want to play Nico and then have Maddison, who's an attacker as well, in that same fixture. So I'll probably just play Saliba at home. I know it's a derby and Spurs are probably pretty likely to score, but I'll probably stick with him and hope that we keep it clean. As you can see, I'm pretty much doing this. I still have triple City, triple Arsenal, and with 3 or 4 game weeks left to go until the blank, I'll have to start moving them out. And I think Saliba probably will go next week anyway. I'll play him this week, probably jump off him next week. And then it comes down to Cancelo as well, who I probably will have to jump off as well after the Southampton fixture. So into Liverpool, I'll probably go Cancelo, maybe to Trent. I know it seems like a stupid sideways move, but it's something I have to prepare for the blank. And as I said, with Salah, really good fixtures, I'm obviously scared and need to own Trent for that period as well. What was Matt say? Kane, decent fixtures during the blank, and Liverpool, tough couple. Yeah, it will be handy, but it's just the structure as well, which I really think I just need to keep it that way. Like I'd be tempted, and if I had the double strikers now, I'd be happy to keep it. But the fact that I need to move towards it, or to get Haaland, if I was to keep Kane, and then more than likely have to move back out of it, it's probably something I just want to keep. And I think City can go well against United, and I know he is a great captaincy option against Everton as well. That is part of it too. That's definitely part of it. In that week, Mitrovic has Bournemouth. Something I'm looking at. You can maybe go with him. Maybe if you keep what's the name, an Arsenal asset, you can go with them. Against Leeds, if you got Martinelli and Jesus, I don't mind that as well. So whilst Kane I think is a really good captaincy option this week, that week, sorry, in game week 11, I'm okay with Partey with you, and he's been really good for me, obviously, but he hasn't been Haaland good, so it's definitely put me back a bit. But maybe I'll jump over to this screen to see what it looks like. So if we put Reece James on, it'd be good to have him back. I think if you don't have him, someone you really need to look at in the near future. They got some decent fixtures coming up. Potter coming in, he'll be more than likely nailed at right wing back. And then the transfer. So let's say I do Kane to Haaland, and then have to get rid of Phil, unfortunately, but it just makes sense. And Matto's fixtures are really, really good. I know Leicester have been pretty shocking, but more so defensively, they've still been able to score goals, and I think Maddison's the focal point. So we go in like that. We go next week and roll, which is nice. I might get rid of Saliba, as I said, and kick on, but maybe I'll roll as well. You play Nico, who knows? If I roll, then game week 11 is probably when I get rid of Saliba and Cancelo. I haven't looked what defender I would get. I think I just done Anderson at this point because they've got pretty good fixtures, and then I would get Trent back. I think I can just afford that. So I know it's City at home, but you could play Andreas here, you could play Gross here as well. I've got options. And then the blank comes around, and I'll probably have to take a hit, I think, to make the team work. Where I do this, field everyone, bench everyone here, bench Haaland, and then to get Salah. Annoyingly, he is a lot more than this, so I'd have to make a hit somewhere, and whether that's getting rid of Jesus or Martinelli, I'm not sure. I think I just have to do it, or I get a cheaper defender than Anderson actually the week previous, and I'll be able to figure that out. But yeah, I can. If I keep Phil, I can switch him to Zaha. It's because Zaha I'll be going without during this period. I just think it's easy to get to Salah this game week if I do it this way rather than not. How much is Anderson? I think so if I unfortunately there's probably not many 4 million defenders to do, and I know I've lost value along the way. My team value is very bad. Not having Haaland. I got Martinelli in pretty quickly, but I didn't start him either. Has killed me quite a bit. But it's not something I ever really focus on, but obviously it can help you when you need to plan ahead. Let's get to, there's a few things I want to talk about, maybe in regards to fixtures. That's the wrong screen. Let's do... is it this one? Yep. So we got the Scout website here. They haven't updated everything, and fair enough. There's still a bit of time left for some press conferences, but one team I did want to look at. I'm not sure it's quite updated yet. Yeah, it hasn't really been, so there's not too much we can look at yet. But Newcastle is probably a big team to talk about. Wilson looks to be back. I was just reading quotes on him. He's been fit for a while, doing training, and Isak is out. And Isak actually hasn't, or is said not to be out for too long. So it'll be interesting to see when he's back as well what they go with. But right now, Wilson starting is all but certain, and then who knows what will happen after that. But I think they've got some pretty good fixtures coming up. It is annoying for you, Isak owner, and I guess the main talking point, we've got Tony on the screen as the thumbnail. Is the most transferred players in, and Tony is one of them. So it's Matto first and foremost, and I think that's fair enough. He looks like a great option for this game week especially, and I think a few people might captain him left field, but going forward as well. But Tony is the second most transferred in, and I don't know if I totally love it. I get it. He's quite up there for points on the season. He had that hat-trick 2 or 3 game weeks ago, but he was consistent at the start, and then outside of that and the hat-trick, he hasn't been too good. And I don't know, Brentford, I think they started really well. Then they're not going as well as they have now or currently, but I get it that he is the next best option. I just really think Jesus, I know the blank really hurts him. But I'd be happy to keep him, Mitro, and then Haaland, have that as the front three for a while. But I totally understand. I think a lot of people have already jumped off Jesus, and they're continuing to, because he's still being the most transferred out, and that makes sense because he's one of the most owned players in the game, so he's always going to be pretty highly transferred out. And it is interesting to see Salah there too, to be honest, because I think he's a great option this week. It might have been done very early as well, because we have had an international break, but I think he'd be perfect to captain this week, to be honest, Salah, and he's going to probably be a differential because, people like me, I'm getting Haaland in. Owners that have already had him all season will be looking to stick the captaincy on him, but I think Salah's a very good option this week as well. Begsy, I know. I would almost be tempted to go Solanke, and I know Bournemouth, it's just like, why would you get a Bournemouth striker? They haven't done too much, and their numbers are pretty terrible so far in the Prem, but I think they played us, they played Liverpool, they've played City. But I think it comes up with the good fixtures now that they can get some goals. And I think Solanke last season, he scored 30 goals or 29. I think 7 assists it was as well. It was about half of Bournemouth's goals in the Premier League, in the Championship. Sorry, but so he's involved in 1 in every 2 Bournemouth goals. And they're going to score. Like, it's not going to be a lot, but they are going to score goals with these decent fixtures over the next little period. And I think he can be involved in a couple. And then at 5 point, whatever he is, I think you don't have to get too much from him, and he can hold down a striker spot. And if you've got more money to spend elsewhere, in midfield, there's quite a good few midfield options like Maddison and Zaha. You want to own both of them. You want to own probably a De Bruyne or a Salah. I think it helps you with the cash. And I know a few people are cheaping out in defence a little bit more at the moment, which is probably fair enough. And sort of Trent and Cancelo, not a lot of people probably got both still, or looking to make the swap. So I think the extra money you get from Solanke might help. So I don't totally hate it. Whereas with Tony, I know they got really good fixtures, and their fixtures are really good for a long time, pretty much right up to the World Cup. So I don't mind that. Mitro in, that's fine. All of these make a lot of sense. Saliba's a bit of a weird one. I know it's probably more casuals than not because the fixtures aren't great, and he has been, he did score the goal recently, and it's probably part of it. But I wouldn't be transferring him in. Diaz 10th in and out. That's funny. I think he's a good option as well going forward. A bit of Liverpool cover, so I don't totally hate that either. He's one that could really still do some damage. Rest of the ones don't matter. They're fine. The ones out are probably totally fine as well. Rashford's still flagged. I'm not totally sure what the go is with him. Zinchenko just dealing with injury after injury at the moment, so there's no qualms getting rid of him. Plus the fixtures. Trent, as I spoke about, I think a lot of these Salah and Trent ones were done obviously on wildcard, and then people looking ahead and wanting to jump off them with the average fixtures until game week 12. So that it kind of makes sense. Isak obviously with the injury. Kulu picked up an injury, unfortunately, in the international break. Gross makes sense, but as I said before, I wouldn't be totally against keeping him and seeing how they go. I know if he's in your 11th or 12th, then that's fine. But for me, he's part of the full squad and doesn't have to be fielded every week. But I guess he also takes up a bit of cash too. So if you're looking to make some and get rid of him, that's fine. Perisic, very interesting. If I had him, I'd almost just keep and see. He's going to start the derby. I totally, can see that coming. There's no doubt there. And in a big game like that, I'm quite scared of him as an Arsenal fan. I think he can do damage, and not just from an FPL point of view, but in general in the game, and create havoc down that left side. With presumably Ben White still starting. I guess I don't know. I would like to see Tomiyasu start soon, because I think he can really just play defensively and mark someone like a Perisic and Son. It's going to be a tough day down that wing. Sonny back into form. I assume Richarlison will have to start on the right. So, I would be keeping him. And I know it's going to annoy you, and he's probably going to be a transfer out at some point just because of the fixtures. And if you haven't seen it or know about it by yet, every big team playing in Europe, whether it's Europa League, Champions League, they've got a game coming every 3 or 4 days up until the World Cup, pretty much for the next 6, 7, 8 weeks. So, Matt asked, any interest in Matto? I mean, there is slight interest. there is definitely slight injury. I think Vardy might be coming back into the team. I'm not sure what's predicted, but we don't really know as of yet. But even if it's Daka, he'll be playing up in a front three with whoever it is, Barnes and himself. And I think Forrest is obviously a really good fixture. I am slightly tempted to do it, but I think having Maddison alone will be fine enough. He's already a decent differential at the moment. Of course, a lot of people will be getting him in, and a lot of the clued up managers or attentive managers will be getting him in. But I still think that's fine to have him and not feel the need to captain him unless you want to take a really big risk. But I don't think it's that bad. I wouldn't be scared of it. Harvey Barnes is a bit cheaper, Danny Boy, so I wouldn't be going him over Matto. If I would be either getting Matto and going him as well, if you really want to double up and try and just get the most out of their upcoming fixtures, which are really good. But I would be going Matto first and foremost for sure. What do we want to talk about next? I mean, there's not too much else going on. I mean, there's still a bit coming out as far as press conferences. I think a good guy to follow if you're not already is Ben Dinnery, his name is. And he's the injury guy. He's got everything in regards to it. So I guess we'll see if he's got anything else. As of late, pretty much just the Newcastle news. Callum Wilson, St. Max is doing well, but he may not play still. But yeah, it will be interesting to see what they do Newcastle with Wilson and Isaac once they're both fit. I guess I'll still be waiting to do my transfers. I will be keeping it until the last minute tomorrow night. If you got any questions, Daka is flagged, so maybe Vardy will play Begsy, but I think Matto is by far and away the best option. He's the midfielder as well, so extra point for goals, clean sheets, stuff like that. If there's any other questions, fire away, or else I probably don't have too much more to talk about. I will try to do these, as I said, more of them. There will be some midweek deadlines, and for us, when the deadline or real one is at 3 a.m, 4 a.m. overnight, I'll be doing it the night before. But yeah, Matto's definitely the pick. Then Zaha will probably be scared and won't be able to get him in, not owning Zaha, because I think he'll be a great option too. Pope or Guaita or double. Yeah, I hate just thinking about goalkeepers in general, Lock, to be honest. I wouldn't be going Guaita, to be honest. I know a lot of people. I know their fixtures are good. I think I trust Newcastle more as a defence, and I just wouldn't be going double Leicester. I just can't do it. I sat through that pain for 4 or 5 weeks, probably 6, and I wouldn't be going to that, and I would definitely tell you not to. So probably Pope. And I know it's boring, and I know it does probably mean you doubled up on their defence because you're probably more than likely going to have Trippier, but I think that's fine. I think their fixtures are pretty good, so just trust them the most. They probably should have more cleans, to be honest, than they do already as well. A lot of draws, just conceding, one goal, just not being able to secure the points. I'll probably do that. Everson might be starting there. I mean, that might help them. That actually might help them too. So, and I'm going to stick with Pope, I think, as well. I know I was tossing up Water Pope for this game week in particular, but I'm going to stick with Pope. I think he can rack up save points anyway, and if Mitro blanks, hopefully it's a complete blank for Fulham, and then there's a clean sheet there. Daddy Ings, Leeds and Forest next to 6.7. I wouldn't be touching Villa, to be honest. I just wouldn't be touching Villa. And Kunku, if he gets to Chelsea, well, why do these players keep going to Chelsea? It'd be a great pickup for them if he does, though. It'd be a very, very good pickup. When would that be happening? In January, probably? Is that what they're saying? Let's see. Just go transfer to this. Why is this like this? There we go. So probably going to make the transfer of Kane and Foden. Unfortunately, I actually think they might be better as well. It's just the structure annoys me, and I don't know. Oh no, I want to get Salah, so I'll probably have to do that. Stick it that way. Unfortunately, I think Jesus is actually. I'm keen to hold him. I know a lot of people will be making the jump off. We just Leeds have been conceding goals for fun, and that fixture really entices me. Might even captain him that week, especially if I go this route because I won't have Kane. So I think I'll probably more than likely stick with that. Just wait for some more news over the next 24 hours. Brennan Johnson, clear as Solanke. Yeah, maybe. You can trust Forrest. I mean, I think Solanke is the centre there, whereas Forrest got so many players. So many other strikers, they often play two as well, where I think Solanke is the main man up top on penalties. I just don't know what's going on with Forrest, really. There are a lot of players to fit in and rotate, so not certain what the go is. Yeah, geez, Kunko, that'd be unreal. So yeah, I actually wouldn't mind keeping Jesus and going this route, even though I think Kane will be really good and probably scores against us, he probably scores the next 3 games, or at least a couple, to be honest, so it is a bit annoying. But yeah, I do endorse Solanke. I know up until this point you're thinking, why the hell would you go near Bournemouth? The stats are quite poor, but as Matt says, he's the key man on penalties. They will score soon enough. And yeah, so keen for the Prem to be back. Got the couple of derbies this week. Manchester derby will be huge. Obviously, North London derby tomorrow night. What am I sitting at? Just outside the top 2 million. So look, I'm taking a hit again this week. I have to try and make the right captaincy call to keep going up in the ranks. I don't want to take too many hits, but hopefully keep climbing. If you got any more questions, just hit me up on Twitter or in the Discord. And I'm always around. But other than that, there's not too much else I don't want to talk about, to be honest. Just a short one tonight. And as I said, I'll with footy finally over, NFL's kicking about, Prem's back, I'll probably be keen to do more of these, up until the World Cup. So it should be fun, and then there'll be a few midweek, as I said, when the deadlines and the games are coming thick and fast. So thanks for tuning in, guys. I'll definitely catch you soon. There'll be some videos coming. A lot. I'll have to be on my game. There'll be a lot of deadlines, a lot of game weeks coming up, and a lot to cover. So thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one, guys. And leave a like if you haven't already on the stream. That'll help. And I'll see you next time. Cheers.